Welcome to this week's edition of the St. Mark Spark. I'm glad to be with you all. We are going to jump into the Psalm of the day. This is a psalm of encouragement. That's the truth about the Psalms, is that whatever you are going through, whatever highs, whatever lows, whatever triumphs, whatever defeats, there is a psalm for that. The Psalms are the Psalms of David and many other writers and singers, but these are also the Psalms of our life if we sing them, if we listen to them, if we pay attention. So our psalm today is from Psalm 144, verses 9 through 15. Psalm 144, verses 9 through 15. Listen now as God speaks to us through God's word. I will sing a new song to you, O God. Upon a 10-stringed harp I will play to you. The one who gives victory to kings, who rescues his servant David. Rescue me from the cruel sword, and deliver me from the hands of aliens, whose mouths speak lies, and whose right hands are false. May our sons in their youth be like plants full grown, our daughters like corner pillars cut for the building of a palace. May our barns be filled with produce of every kind. May our sheep increase by thousands, by tens of thousands in our fields. And may our cattle be heavy with young. May there be no breath in the walls, no breach in the walls, no exile, and no cry of distress in our streets. Happy are the people to whom such blessings fall. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord. May this God's word speak to our hearts, our minds, our spirits. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There are several psalms that begin, the psalm begins, or you hear it again and again in the body of the psalm. I will sing a new song. Now, I don't know when it happened. I think it's probably about 20 years ago. I was listening to the radio, and they no longer called it the oldie station. They had moved to calling it the classic station, or the classic rock station. But I remember distinctly driving in the car, listening to music that I had purchased the tape to, or I had purchased the CD to. And it's that strange thing in life when you realize that you are now considered the demographic, the market for the oldies station. There's something comforting about old songs. There's something comforting about rolling the windows down, turning the radio up, and singing at the top of your voice because you know every word. The gift of memory, the gift of remembering these songs. And when you sing these songs, you remember when you maybe danced to these songs in high school, or maybe you sang them with friends at tailgate parties, or maybe these were songs that comforted you at some low point in your life. There is value to these old songs, to these old tunes. But sometimes old songs get tired. Sometimes old songs and old ways just become too much of a burden. And in fact, they don't help us to go further. In many ways, they pull us back from growing to who we are called to be. And so this is a psalmist saying, I've sung the old songs. I want to sing a new song. And I think in the midst of everything we have been through, in the midst of everything we're going through, I think we long to sing not just the old songs, but maybe God needs to put a new song on our lips, a new song in our hearts, a new song coming out of our voices. And so we hear the psalmist say, I'm going to sing a new song, oh God. I'm going to get a 10-stringed harp. I'm going to play to you. I'm going to rock the harp, rock like a guitar. And he says, the one who's giving victory to kings, who rescues his servant David. I'm singing because I remember that you have done this before. I sing this new song remembering all the good things that you have provided, that you are the God who saves. And then the song changes a little bit, saying, rescue me, save me, deliver me from the cruel sword, deliver me from violence. Deliver me from the hands of aliens. This means not just, these are not talking about Martians or illegal aliens or that kind of thing. We have to be very careful with that language. Deliver me from those on the outside who don't know you. Deliver me from those who speak duplicitous words, who are two-faced, whose mouths speak lies, And I love this line, whose right hands are false. Think about those times we talk about you make an agreement, a handshake agreement. And we've all had situations where people have betrayed us, or perhaps we have betrayed others. We have taken someone else's hand, we've shaken hands, and we've agreed to do something, and then we didn't follow through. And think about how bad that makes us feel, but also when we're on the receiving end of that, saying, God, save me from these situations. God, be with me. God, you delivered me before. God, deliver me again. And then we get this beautiful next part. The last part says, may our sons in their youth be like plants full grown, our daughters like corner pillars cut for the building of a palace. May our children grow, and may they grow strong. May our children know peace. But more than that, may our barns be filled with produce of every kind. May we have sheep, may by the thousands, by the tens of thousands in our flocks, which means that those sheep provided clothing from the wool, but and meat from their bodies. So may we have all the produce, may we have all the clothing, may we have all the meat. May our cattle be heavy with young. May we live in times of prosperity. May there be no breach nor walls. May there be no area where the enemy can't come in. May there be no exile. May we not be taken from where we are at. And may there be no cry of distress in our streets. I love that last line because it reminds us that yes, we're praying individual psalms, singing a new song, a new prayer for personal deliverance, but we are praying for deliverance of everybody, praying for our sons, praying for our daughters, praying even for those people in the past who might have wailed and cried in the streets. Perhaps we need to listen a little closer. Perhaps it's when our cupboards are full, when our stomachs are stuffed, when our family is healthy, that we think that we alone have God's blessing, that we only need to worry about ourselves. But we have to pay attention to the walls of protection for others, to make sure no one is exiled because they think or they worship or they love differently. Pay attention that there be no cries of distress in our streets. And we're not just talking about Claymont Drive here, the road on which I live, the road where I work, and the road where we worship together in person and online. We have to pay attention to all of our streets in our cities and in our communities. And at last, the psalmist says, happy are the people to whom such blessings fall. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord. It's about also recognizing when we have a plentiful harvest, when God has been good to us, when our sons and daughters are doing well, when all these things line up, to thank God for these things, to see what we have been given and see out of the abundance of God's mercy that we share those gifts with others. But also beyond that, it is to recognize these things and to give God thanks and God the glory. The last line, happy are the people whose God is the Lord. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord because they, when they're full, they can sing psalms of thanksgiving. But when they're empty, they too can remember. When they are in exile, or they feel cut off, or they feel their walls have been breached, they feel like their lives are falling down, they too can remember, and we can help others to remember, to lift up one another, to remember that God is the Lord always. To do this, we don't just talk to people or shout at people. We sit with people. We encourage people. We share with people. We are called to be with people. Sing the old songs. But there are new songs to be sung as well. Remember what God has done, but also see a vision for today and tomorrow where God is calling you to be. Happy are those people whose God is the Lord, because God is with them now, and God has been with them before, and our God calls us to be with one another. I pray that God blesses you this day. I pray that you enjoy the beautiful early September weather we're having in our family. We always start off every month. We try to say rabbit, rabbit to each other. So I'll say rabbit, rabbit to you all, my friends. And also, as always, that God might be with you. Go in peace.